Alright, hey guys. Welcome to another What Are We Reading Wednesday video. I know it's probably been a while since the last one we did. We missed a week or missed some of them.
Yes.
Elizabeth is out sick today, so Steven is here since
Hello, my name is Steven.
he is caught up in one of the books we really wanted to talk about today. Although we don't have a lot since we are being a little quick since our comics came in late today due to the bad weather,
Yes.
the hurricane yesterday. The first one we have to talk about is the Harley Quinn Animated Series comic.
Yes.
It's picking up, from what I understand, right after the Kite Man Poison Ivy
Yes.
wedding. I haven't actually seen the show.
So I haven't seen the show either, but the whole story of this kind of was interesting to me. And they do mention it around midway through the comic that it is.
That's how it's starting. They're running away from the
yes,
wedding.
So they're running away from Gordon and his goons, and this is, I guess, like not the typical Gordon. Like he's pretty much screaming.
Well,
and
it's the cartoon, so it's like an over-exaggerated.
So
version of
he's
it.
pretty much over-exaggerating everything, and then Harley Quinn's being Harley Quinn, very chaotic person.
It's I guess trying to deal with stuff that I don't know if I guess they might just skip over this point whenever the next season comes out for the show.
Yeah, I believe so.
But it's like, Poison Ivy kind of feeling bad for not being able to just like
Yes.
fake the wedding or whatnot and get along with it.
Yeah, and so pretty much like throughout like the first couple of like panels in the comic, we see Ivy just kind of going into like this breakdown. Like she's just like, you can tell there's something wrong like through her body language. And Harley's
You get the part where Harley's talking to herself.
yeah, it's
The normal
because
psychiatrist version.
yeah, because she is the psychiatrist trying to figure out what's wrong, but it's just kind of going back into you can't push things on people, and so they ended up having their honeymoon within Gotham Mall. Is it Gotham? Yeah, Gotham Mall, and they kind of
The
settle
abandoned mall.
down for a bit, and they go amongst themselves, kind of looking at the news. Ivy gets a little mad and goes into the restroom for a bit, and then she kind of has her breakdown.
Sad times. They sleep together, and then it kind of just leads off with we got to keep running from Gordon because he's just keep threatening to get them because of
Yeah, and
through a series of events. I have no idea how this happens in the show. Harley destroyed Gotham with parademons.
yes, I believe that's how it went.
That's what
and-
they say in the comic, but I don't know because again I haven't seen the show properly. But it ends with them saying they have to go off
Was it
to
a series of unfortunate events?
Unfortunate.
different show.
And probably one of my most favorite ones is that we at least get to see the hyenas.
Yeah.
In the final little panel, and I mean I'm a fan of the Harley Quinn's hyenas. Like I will always love them. And
I mean, I think it wasn't until I played Injustice 2 that like I always found Harley Quinn really annoying. But it's more so when they, it's mostly because they don't really do a lot with Harley Quinn for a lot of stuff in the comics. It's just the girl version of the Joker that's the Joker's girlfriend. But it's more so when you move on, we can either have maybe like anti-hero elements, or again, like this comic does along with the animated show, is actually going forward with like the romance with her and Poison
yes,
Ivy.
and that's also another thing is they point out that like Ivy's poisonous kiss doesn't work on Harley, and it's like okay, that's a
I
very
don't know
big
why
point.
it works. It has to be either the makeup
It's-
or Harley Quinn is just that insane it
It's
doesn't work.
I believe canonly or canonically, it only works on men.
Oh, okay.
And so it doesn't work on girls.
Okay.
And so I think that's why they keep hinting at it. And it's, so that was at least a good mention of that ability. I can't remember which one it is.
Did you ever see the moment when Poison Ivy controlled Superman because she had kryptonite lipstick?
No, I did not.
It was in Batman Hush.
Oh.
Sorry, I'll save that for anything for Batman Hush. But the last comic I talked about was the one that I went through and have for my pick. It's Possessive issue 2.
Oh, we got issue 2.
Yeah. So, well, I know you know the first one because the variant cover was Bob Ross.
Yeah, so the variant one was Bob Ross. And
Well, the catcher from the first issue, a guy he's in a family marriage, he has to sign divorce papers, and he doesn't want to get divorced, but he's a drunk alcoholic, so his wife took the kids, and he buys this old crappy house. He's like, well, it's a fixer-upper, it'll bring my family back together, and of course it doesn't work, but it turns out the house is haunted by a ghost lady that just keeps killing people who keeps coming over, people who were supposed to fix his house but trying to rob him. She killed him. She kills the Uber Eats guy who was trying to give him more booze as she keeps destroying his booze not to make him drink anymore. He goes out, he tries to get a priest to do an exorcism. The priest is like, wait, is this a ghost or a demon? Ghost? What's the difference? And he goes, doesn't work on ghosts, only on demons. Like, oh, then it's definitely a demon. So he brings him in to do it. It doesn't work. The priest, is killed, dragged up to the attic.
Oh. So she just constantly, they keep hiding the bodies in the
So,
attic.
well, Well, as you find out later, she's not getting rid of the cars.
Oh.
I'll get to that. But he goes out to the library to find out about like the house, and he finds out that she was supposed to get married to a guy who was a drunk alcoholic, and then he accused her of cheating, which she didn't, and then he like trapped her in the basement and abused her and beat her, and then she eventually killed him, and then she eventually died too, and now she's stuck in the house. And it's like this thing of events of like she's destroying these things about him because she feels bad for him because he's like depressed and trying to drink himself to death. And she's like, nah, you can be better. So she's breaking all of his booze, breaks his iPad so he can't mope about his family, and gets him to start his true passion, which is painting. So it's it's the ghost falling in love with him.
So he becomes Bob Ross.
Yeah, sure. Bob Ross fell in love with a ghost. I don't know. It could happen in the documentary. I haven't watched that yet.
I haven't watched that documentary either.
But it's just like him getting happier with the ghost and like his life improving because he's falling in love with the ghost lady. Dancing and everything. And then of course as towards the end when like his life's getting better, his wife's trying to come back. But that's also the point, that's the tension for the next issue coming out, which is the last one. This is only a 3-issue story.
Oh, it's only 3 issues?
Yeah, Zenescope does Zenescope, the publisher for this book, a lot of the stuff they do is like they put in a lot of extra pages and minimal ads.
It's understandable.
They also do a lot of like nice variant covers. I know there was one for Van Helsing this week.
There's a Van Helsing. Ooh.
Well, it's not a it's the Grimm Fairy Tales book from like a few weeks ago, but it's a variant that came out today for it.
Oh, interesting.
But no, his wife points out, it's like, is this a bad time? You have too many guests. As all of the cars of the dead people are still
piled
still
up.
for the
They just
house.
haven't gotten rid of them.
Yeah. But I do really like this one. I don't know if you know Adam Goldberg at all. This is co-written from Adam Goldberg. If anybody recognizes, it is the guy who helped create the show The Goldbergs, which is a sitcom just about like a family growing up in the 80s, written by Adam Goldberg about Adam Goldberg when he was a kid. So it's actually pretty nice to read this too. There's some other stuff I want to go over really quick that also came out this week. There's the next issue that I haven't gotten to read yet again since comics did come in a day late today. They are up on the shelf and for sale now, but there's the Porcelain, which is it's more of a magical horror art.
Horror, you say?
Well, there's a lot of horror stuff, especially as we're getting closer to October. But also it's very cat heavy, which is important. And also if you have, I know there's. Could have talked about Cinnamon. The next issue for Save Yourself, which is the book that's about there's a group of magical girls on Earth that are superheroes, but they're really posing because they're trying to destroy the world, and it's like a girl uncovering the whole secret.
Okay.
And then Vampirverse for repeating our always talking about Red Sonja and or Vampirella, which this is a little ridiculous for Vampirverse, but it's like all of the threads tying different multiverse Vampirellas.
They're getting into Spider-Verse type stuff?
Basically, it's like Spider-Verse but for Vampirella. And it's like the Vampirella's this evil villain in this suit called like, what was her name? It's very generic. Bloodwing.
Okay.
But it's like Bloodwing doesn't like all the connected Vampirellas, so she's now hunting to destroy the Vampirella multiverse between all of them.
Interesting.
As it's hopping between universes to see different Vampirellas. That is it for the comics that we had just to talk about pretty quickly today. I guess there's anything to point out first. We do have Batman Day this Saturday. There's free Batman comics along with all of our Batman, Joker, Harley Quinn graphic novels being 10% off. We have a display up front for people, to see ones to pick up there. We also have, I know, plenty of Dark Knight Returns and Batman Red Hood. If you haven't read Red Hood before, absolutely. It's probably one of my favorite Batman stories. I know I know they've been doing Red Hood in the Titan show, but that's a lot more to talk about. Lastly, we do have, this is more so just for general game events now at this point that we have in the store, but we have our Tales of Aria pre-release this Friday at 6, and then midnight, and then throughout the weekend we have our Midnight Hunt pre-release for Magic the Gathering.
Yes.
Along with, I think, the big events we have up this weekend. So I think that does cover them though, so thank you guys for watching that.